What's up guys, and welcome to another tutorial, and today I'll be showing you how to create a login form in C# and with SQL Server. So first of all, I have here my Microsoft SQL Server 2016. You can use any version. I'm gonna create a new database. I'll be naming it login_test. Okay. I'll expand the database and expand the tables. I'll be creating a new table. I'll name it login. So this table is gonna have the username and its corresponding password. So username, let's make it varchar50, and the password, let's make it also varchar50. And we'll make the user the primary key, and the password for sure is not gonna allow nulls. So let's save this. Okay, so now we're done with our database, but last thing we have to do is add some records to this table. So I'm gonna refresh my Object Explorer and right click on our table, edit top 200 rows, and we're gonna enter some values. Bassel 123 tick 321. Let's go. Now we're gonna move to the Visual Studio. So here I have my form one, the text of it, I made it login and put two text boxes, one for the username, one for the password, and a login button. So this is our main form, which is form 1. And here I have form 2. So in order to go to form 2, we have to successfully log in using the credentials that we have just added in our database. So first of all, we're gonna double click on the login button, and I'm gonna create a function just right under this button1_click. I'll name it Authenticate, which indicates whether the user is authenticated or not based on the database values. So it's gonna return a boolean, so bool authenticate, and it's gonna take a string, which is the username, and a string, which is the password, and return false. Okay, so first thing first, in order to establish a connection with our Microsoft SQL Server, we are gonna add, or we'll be using system.i.data.sql client. And inside our function, we're gonna make a string for the connection. So string constring, which is gonna be the connection string, and I'm gonna show you in a moment how to get this. And we're gonna create our SQL connection object. Let's name it con equals new SQL connection, and between two brackets we're gonna send our connection string, which is constring. Then we're gonna create our SQL command. So SQL command is equal to con.create command. Now we are going to enter our query text that is gonna return whether it's authenticated or not. So command text is equal to, and then our query, which is select asterisk from login, where username is equal to @user, and @user is gonna be a parameter that we're gonna send, and you'll see how now. And password equals @pass, and then we're gonna type command the parameters, the add with value, and then the parameter name, which is @user, and the value, which is username. And we're gonna do the same for the password. Okay, so now we're gonna open our connection, so con.open, and then we're gonna execute our query. So to do that, we're gonna create a variable var, which is result, and it's gonna be equal to command.execute scalar. And execute scalar returns the first column of the first row of the result. So basically, if the result is not null, then we have actually a value, then this user exists. If the result is null, then the query, there's no matching records with our sent username and passwords, so the user is not authenticated. So if result is not equal null, then the user is authenticated, return true, and else it's gonna return false. Okay, so now let's see how can we get this connection string. So basically, you have here the server explorer. We're gonna click on this, and in the data connections, right click on it and add connection. And here the data source is Microsoft SQL Server, and our server name, we're gonna enter our server name. In my case, it's Bassel-PC, and after this you are gonna select your database name from here. So our database that we have just created was the login_test, and we're gonna test our connection, and test connection succeeded, so we're done. Let's click OK. Alright, so now let's select our connection from here, and we're gonna go to the properties, and we have here the connection string. So we're gonna copy all of this, and this is our connection string. We're going to paste it right here. And that's it. We're done now with our authenticate function. So now we want to handle this. We want to actually authenticate our user when we click on the button, and if he is successfully authenticated, then we are gonna show him the form 2 and hide this login form. So to do this, we are gonna type if authenticate of, and we're gonna send our username and password. So the username is in text box 1.text, and the password is in text box 2.text. So if he's actually authenticated, what we're gonna want to do is create an object from the class form. So form, let's name it my form2, for example, is equal to new form2. And remember, form2 is our new form here that is gonna appear once the user is authenticated. Okay, so after this, what we'll be doing is we're gonna make this form hidden, and we can do this by either type hide or type visible equals false. And after this, we're gonna write the code to close this form once the other new form, which is form 2, is closed. So to do this, basically, we're gonna type if my form2.showDialog equals dialog result dot cancel, then close. This will close this form and eventually close the whole program. Else, if the user is not authenticated, we're gonna display a message box. So message box.show wrong login credentials. And we are done. So let's try this. Okay, so I'll try to enter my password, my username and password. So Bassel and 123 login. As you can see, I have successfully logged in. So let's try to enter false credentials. So Bassel, anything else, login, wrong credentials. Let's try our next user, which is tech, and the password is 321 login, and bam, it's working. So that's it guys for this tutorial, and thanks a lot for watching.